Hello, I'm Jacqueline Burrell with the Concerned Citizens Network of Alexandria. Welcome. Today in the studio with us is Natalie Talis, Population Manager for the Virginia Department of Health here in Alexandria, as well as Colonel Jim Page, who's the Executive Director for CCNA. Colonel?
Good morning. It's my sad duty to say goodbye to Natalie. Natalie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Natalie, tell us about your time here in the city, and more importantly, why are you leaving us?
So, that last part is a hard thing to answer. My time in the city, before I started with the Alexandria Health Department, I had already been living in the city of Alexandria for about 4 years.
No.
And it was amazing to be able to have a job opportunity where I could serve where I live and really be able to have that opportunity to work for my neighbors and for the betterment of the community and the places that I live and go to. And so I've been here in this role, well, not in this role, but in this area, in this office for 8 years, almost exactly to the day. And it has been a wide range of experiences, and I'm really proud of what my team has accomplished during that time.
You should be proud. You really made a difference in the city because we've had that conversation over and over. Tell us about some of the highlights of your 8 years.
Yeah, some of the highlights, one of the first big projects that I had in 2018, 2019 was the development of our community health assessment and the community health improvement plan back then. And a lot of it was new to me. It was my first time doing that work. And what I really knew was that I needed to have authentic community voice at the table. And, there's a lot of guides out there, like a lot of toolkits for how to do engagement or how to do that stuff. But it's very different from when you're actually doing it and in the community. And sometimes that's really messy, but it's also really enlivening. Like that's what gives me energy is actually being at tables with residents and hearing from them directly. So that was a learning experience. That was a highlight. I think one of the big challenges was obviously the COVID response. But I think the highlight within that was being able to see how many people in our community really rallied to be able to support and protect their neighbors and loved ones. Like people really looked out for each other. And that was really beautiful to know that even though we were working hard at the health department, the people in the community were also working really hard and taking care of each other in ways that we could not do for them.
What do you think the key was for you in getting through COVID? I know you had some good community partners, but for your daily grind was pretty tough. I remember that.
It was a 7 day a week job, 12 to 14-hour days sometimes. I really think that I was lucky in that, yes, it was a lot being able to connect with partners and people to really be close to the work versus when you're far away and you're in an office and you're just seeing the stats and the numbers and dealing with that, you don't really, feel the impact of what you're doing versus, when I was at like our vaccine clinics and I was serving as our public information officer, so kind of making sure all the communications and engagement was going smoothly, to be able to see sometimes like the tears of joy that people had from being able to get that life-saving protection from those vaccines was really powerful. And that's something that sustains you in those really difficult times is you didn't know what the light at the end of the tunnel might be, but to see that kind of daily impact on folks was sustaining.
What, from a public health standpoint, what did COVID teach you? What did you learn from COVID?
Oh gosh. I learned maybe it's a reiterating learning is that, we don't have all the answers. And we may never have all the answers to everything, especially something like that where we were learning every day and sometimes what we knew would change every day. Like there were days where, I would speak to a community group or give like an update to the media at 10 a.m. And then by 3 p.m., I had brand new information from a press release from the CDC, and we had to change everything on our website, and I had to send out a bunch of emails, and we had to update our flyers and our talking points. And that sort of flexibility is a really important lesson, not just for me personally, but I think the field of public health is that you have to be able to be flexible and adaptable in what you're communicating, but also in what you're doing. And you can't be afraid of change. You have to follow like the adaptations of science, right? As we learn
Hmm.
more, as there's new evidence, we have to follow that versus just being stuck on what we knew the day before.
Hmm. So science evolves. It's not static. It's
That's right.
learning new things every minute. Yes.
Natalie, beyond COVID, talk about the home safety effort that you led and continue to lead.
Yeah, so the healthy homes work is one of the things that I'm most proud of from my time at AHD. This was an initiative that didn't come from us. It didn't come from
Mhm.
me. This was something that residents wanted as part of our last community health improvement plan. They wanted a coordinated healthy homes initiative because in the city of Alexandria, we're always talking about affordability, right? Affordability is so huge. And compromising on the safety and quality of your home is not affordable, right? Like we know that if you're going to the ER because of mold or pests in your home, that is not affordable. And so I think residents really recognize that we also have challenges with those home conditions and that people were sacrificing their health to be able to live somewhere more affordable. And that's not right. And people shouldn't have to make those choices. And so our journey over the last 6 years of working on that started with a pilot program, ALX Breeze, where we did that in-home program, but it also was the systems change work. So we built a coalition, the Healthy Homes Network of many different multi-sector partners to try to change policies and systems in Alexandria. And so kind of that dual approach of how do we help people right now in the moment who are suffering and how do we prevent this from being an issue has been really powerful. And I'm really proud of our program that has now served, I think, almost 100 households or residents, as well as, making real changes to the way that our city investigates mold complaints and pest issues. That will really stay with me for a long time.
The city council counts on you and your staff a lot for health advice. When you leave or as you leave, what would be the two or three things you want to share with the council about what we need to do going forward?
That is a good question. Um, I learned something really powerful from a former Alexandria planning director, Carl Moritz, who was here with the city for a really long time. And I remember being in a community meeting where he was describing different policy initiatives or opportunities, and he described it as this spectrum of change that goes all the way from, the incremental all the way to the bold. And I really love that concept of there are lots of things that we can do that make an impact on health. And some are really big, bold ideas, right? Like whether that's something like the work that's being done to create, more food hubs for
Right.
people who need that support. Like that is a big initiative to create a new, facility or change that policy. But then there's also stuff on the other side, which is like changing government forms to make it easier to access the services that we already provide. That's something that doesn't take a long time, that it's a fairly light lift, it doesn't cost any money. And so my guidance to council would be consider the full spectrum of options that can really improve health for people on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't all have to be a big splashy initiative. Sometimes just taking the small steps to make our community a little healthier can make a huge difference for an individual or family.
So that includes languages and having forms in different languages too.
Absolutely. It can really, just because we offer services or resources as a government or even our nonprofit partners who offer services and resources, if they're hard to use or hard to access or they're not available in the neighborhoods that need them most, are they really serving their purpose, or can we make a change?
It was really nice being with you and your staff last evening. How did you feel?
Oh my gosh, I felt overwhelmed emotionally. It was really, really beautiful to see my former staff, my current staff, our community partners, residents who care about this thing. Um, and I'm just really grateful that the community trusted me to do this job, that our partners trust me, and the guidance that I had or the advice I had, that my staff trusted me to be their leader in doing this work. So I feel very grateful that I had the opportunity, because it's really rare to have a job where you get to make a difference, to like make a real difference. And I don't take that lightly or for granted at all.
We
Well,
have a
you have,
term. Go ahead, Jackie, please.
I was just going to say, Natalie, you have been a community change maker and you have made an impact on this community. And I'm sure that you are going to continue to make an impact wherever you go because that's just who you are.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to let you go in a minute, but I told you last evening that you go back through the Google machine and you look at old photos. And I can remember the days at St. Joseph and our first town hall meeting and COVID. When we look at who you are and and what impact you've had on the city, you have a special place at CCNA. Uh,
Thank you.
it's with sadness that we say goodbye to you, but it's with respect that we thank you for being a change maker in the city. So we wish you well. Uh, as we always say that you're never far from us, but we always have a place for you here. Any words of wisdom to us before you leave?
I couldn't do this work without partners like you all in CCNA. I really couldn't. It doesn't matter how many good ideas you have or how passionate you are, if you don't have the relationships with, motivated, passionate folks like you all, and the volunteers that are part of CCNA, and the folks willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work, then my work doesn't do anything. It doesn't go very far. And so the words of wisdom will be to continue building those relationships, continue connecting with each other and with your local government staff, because we truly do want to help and make a difference. And sometimes we need your all guidance and support to really understand the best way to do that. So please keep doing this important work.